Hello and welcome to a new Gwent City Beginners video discussing the concept of thinning your deck. Now in Gwent you have a deck that has minimum 25 cards, maximum 40 cards. But not all of the cards are of the same importance to executing our strategy and to assuring victory. The first thing I want to say is that your deck should never go over 25 cards. It's something that a lot of players want to try out, adding more cards, but the more cards you add does not increase the number of gold cards or silver cards you can include. So your volume of bronze is just increasing, and it will make it more difficult to get to your gold cards in the context of a game. Now, when you hear the term thinning, don't get startled. It's something that exists in almost all card games in some way, shape, or form. In Gwent, it is referring to the action of using one card to pull an additional card out of your deck, making your deck thinner by having less total cards in it. The deck size for everyone who's playing 25 card minimum deck, which you should be, is 15 when you start the game because you have 10 cards in hand. It does seem like there's an extra card in play because your leader has an ability. That counts as a card. So 15 cards will start in your deck. Now, if we take a look at my opening hand, I have a couple cards that can help me thin my deck. I have a Reaver Scout, which will pull one copy of a bronze unit out onto the battlefield, so that will decrease the number of cards in my deck. I have Priscilla, which shows me 2 cards from the deck, and I get to play 1. And I have Stennis, a disloyal card that I play onto the opponent's side of the battlefield, that will show me 1 card face up, 1 card face down, and I pick 1 and it comes to my hand. All 3 of these actions embody the concept of thinning your deck. So now when we look at our deck size, we have 15 cards left in the deck, and we have to consider the fact that drawing cards in Gwent is a limited resource. You can only draw 2 cards going into round 2, and if you're fortunate enough to make it to round 3, you get 1 additional draw. So you only have 3 draws without any interference from outside abilities or sources. That's why disloyal cards are very popular and super important, because they provide an opportunity to get another card out of your deck. Drawing is the most important scarce resource in Gwent. Now, as we keep an eye on our deck, we're going to play this Reaver Scout,
but we're broke as shit
and bring a Blue Stripes Commando to the battlefield. Now, if you've watched my Gwent Theory series, you know that the act of pulling a card out with a Reaver Scout constitutes plus value on a bronze card play. But it does require you to have a bronze unit on the board. So there are points throughout the course of a game where the Reaver Scout is a bad card to have. So what we like to do with full test decks in particular, try and thin out the Reaver Scouts in a way in which we're producing a lot of strength and pressure in the early rounds of a game. And how we accomplish this move in particular is by using full test to essentially rally through the Reaver Scouts on a chain pull. Our deck right now is at 14 cards, and we're going to start this chain here. We rally out the full set, and then we rally out an additional card on our board. This time it's a Blue Stripes Commando, and our deck size is now 4 less than where we started. So this means going into the next round, the likelihood of me finding more important cards is higher, aside from the fact that I happen to start this game with 4 golds in hand. And 3 silvers. This is a fantastic game. I wish this was ranked against this bot. I'd be slaughtering him. All jokes aside, gold is not the only measure of importance on a card. For example, there are a lot of situational cards that I need to draw into depending on the matchup. If this were a power dwarf deck, then a card like Aeromancy or a weather card would be very important to work my way towards through drawing and thinning out my deck. If I had a shortage of resurrections, I would want to thin my deck to try and find Neneka, for example. This case exists a lot with especially silver cards because you can't get them through Reaver Scouts, can't get silver units through Elven Mercenary plays unless you're including some fancy cards like Alzur's Double Cross. So there are a lot of situational cards that you want to be able to work your way towards being able to play through taking out cards from your deck. Now, I've used Northern Realms a lot to demonstrate some of these concepts, but I want to show you how they exist within the other factions as well. Scoia'tael specialize in thinning their decks. The Elven Mercenary is a card that's able to
love.
pull a spell from the deck directly, as long as it's silver or bronze. It does so randomly though, so there is some risk of not being super efficient involved in it, as here we're only removing 3 strength with the last 3. But you can see our deck size has already decreased to 14. So additional plays of the Elven Mercenary continue to help you work your way through your deck so that you're going to make it towards your valued targets. And as you can see, in combination with First Light, which is a card that all factions have access to, but not all factions use as well as Scoia'tael does, that allows you to pull out even more cards from your deck. As I bring this Blue Mountain Commando, or BMC, and replay the Elven Merc, and this chain constitutes a great deal of value, as our deck size is already down to 11. There are also additional cards within the game that will come directly out of your deck, such as
I am who I need to be.
everybody's favorite horse that loves to take a dip in the fog, Roach. As you can see, my deck is now down to 10 cards because Roach came out. And then on top of that, there are leaders that can pull cards out of your deck. And then other cards that can pull cards out of your deck. So the leader pulls out my King of Beggars, which pulls out a Hawker Healer, and now my deck is down to 8 cards. So whatever cards I'm looking for to try and answer any particular situation, I'm just going to be able to get there sooner. And the fun doesn't stop there, because Yaven's here too. You get the point for Scoia'tael. When it comes to Skellige, they've taken some hits in recent balance patches, but they still have a great opportunity to thin cards with a card like the Clandemon Pirate. The deck size 15, I play my Clandemon Pirate, and it adds 2 of his copies instantly to the graveyard. And now the deck size is down to 13, almost effortlessly. And monsters also have a way to help thin out their decks with the ability Muster. Muster is not named that in-game, but any card that says play all copies of so-and-so from your deck is a muster card. You might remember that term from The Witcher Gwent. You can see Arrakis will pull all of its copies directly from the deck, taking out a good number of cards.
I can help.
And if you're really having trouble getting through your deck, there are cards in the game that will directly accomplish this purpose, such as Last Wish, which just allows you to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. So if you need to find a way to get to your answers quicker, this could be a solution for you as well. Now, if you're still having issues trying to wrap your head around the concept of thinning, I'll offer you a pretty basic analogy. Essentially, if you had a friend and they said that they are currently in the city of Chicago, you'd want to know exactly where in the city they are so you could find them. The city of Chicago is a big place. Just like 15 cards in your deck, it's a big place. And if you're looking for one specific card out of those 15 that constitutes a win condition, whether it is in the round or in the game itself, then you're going to have to narrow your focus. Just like you'd have to narrow your focus if you're looking for your friend. So it really all comes down to being able to get to your most important cards as efficiently as possible. Now, does thinning mean that you're instantly going to win the game, that you're going to be the best player there ever was, ever will be? No, not essentially, of course. You still need to be able to put up enough strength in a round to win. You still need to be able to play around a lot of things. But it's really important that you know why you're doing this action of taking additional cards out of your deck through whichever means it is you choose to do so. Just so you can get some more consistency. Because consistency is really important. You can have the best deck in the world if you pick your 10 cards directly from the deck and start with them every time. But then it wouldn't really be much of a card game. So we have to try and offset some of the randomness that is just natural and innate to card games by making decks that generate consistent output. And this is one way to do it. I hope this has helped you. I'm HG3. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. You can throw it a dislike if you didn't like it very much. Also subscribe to Gwent City and leave a comment. What do you think about thinning? Do you want to move away from thinning, or do you think it's a fine mechanic and more cards should come out to help other factions do it as well as Scoia'tael can, as well as Northern Realms can? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.